Hello everyone. It is finally time to organize the bookshelves. I have been dreaming of this moment for such a long time. We've been in this apartment for a really long time now, but it's been a labor of love. We first painted the walls, and then a couple months later the shelves went in, and they were everything I could have dreamed of. But then we decided to paint them the color of the room so that they almost look like built-ins. So that's what we've been working on. And then I have also just been procrastinating, but today is the day. I am going to grab the books that are just sitting in huge piles throughout the apartment and finally get them on the shelves. I think this will be quite a long process, and today I'll probably just start out with getting all the books into this room and getting them on the shelves, but probably not styling them. I will probably live with it for a little while and then figure out if I want things to be stacked or if I want any books to be displayed in a specific way, and then I'll add all my tchotchkes and all my little decorative bits, because I've also been compiling those for quite some time. But today the goal is to just get everything in here, get everything on the shelves, and that will be our starting point. This is like a dream come true. I could not be more excited. I think this room will be perfect for use as an office, which is how I've been using it for quite some time, but then we'll eventually get a chair in here and it will be like the full library and office. So I'm so excited. We decided to make it like a very dark forest green to make it very dramatic. This room is kind of in the middle of the apartment, so it doesn't really get any natural light. We have not figured out the lighting situation in here. That's why the lighting right now is not great. We just have like different lamps, but I wanted this room to be very dark and very cozy, and I think we have achieved that. So the first step for today will be just grabbing all of the books that are in the bedroom, in the dining room, because they have taken up, they've exploded basically. They now take up most of our home because they're not on the shelves yet, and I think that will really help with just clutter that has been accumulated and also dust. Books attract dust, and I can't wait to when they're on these shelves and I can actually clean effectively and not have to constantly dust just piles that are sitting around in random places. So let's start with that. All the red books in here because I first want to go through and organize all of these piles to make it easier to get them on the shelves in a way that makes sense in my brain. Because first and foremost, we can go through kind of my rules of organization, and these are rules that I have not been able to actually put into practice for the past few years. If you remember my old apartment, all of the books were displayed in the fireplace, and that was very beautiful and I loved looking at it, but it was just a hodgepodge. And now that I can actually have room to spread out and organize books in a specific way, I have some rules that I like to follow. So my preferred way of organizing is to first and foremost keep read and unread books separate. I do not like them to even be in the same section. Ideally, I will have a physical TBR shelf or keep them in another section of the house entirely. I really like to have a spot where I know I can go to of untouched books and have like kind of shop my own library. So I really like that idea. So that's why I've left all of the unread books in a different room for now, and I'll bring them in probably at the very end and find a place for them. So that's number one. Secondly, I always keep an author's work together, except if I have some unread books by that author. They will only join their section when I finish them, but that is my second rule for organizing. I like to have like a Vandermeer section or a Robin Wall Kimmerer section or a Claire Keegan section, whatever it is. I like to have a little homage to authors that I've read a lot of. It's also a way to kind of find them more easily when I like to return to things. So that's my second preferred way of organizing. Other than that, I'm just gonna put things as I see fit. I will typically organize by vibe. So that could mean genre, it could mean they remind me of one another or they have similar themes. It could also mean that I read them around the same time in my life and they just remind me of a certain year or time in my reading. So that I'm a bit less fussy about. I will sometimes put like hardbacks together and paperbacks together so they look nice on a shelf, but I'm not too picky other than keeping read and unread separate and having an author's work live together. Other than that, I'll just see how things fit. I have very poor spatial awareness, so looking at all of these books on the floor right now, I can't actually visualize at all how much room they'll take up here. I mean, this is the most, room I've had to work with ever, so I think I will be fine. I think I'll have plenty of room to grow into, but I just can't visualize it. But that's what makes this really fun. So I'm going to get started. I have my coffee here. I've turned off the overhead light because I just cannot contend with an overhead light at a time like this. So I hope it's not too dark, but it does give you the moody vibe that I was trying to get in this room. So to that end, I will now start reorganizing all of these piles and putting authors' work together, putting books that I read at a similar time together, and getting piles that I can easily transport to the shelves. Than I thought it would be, and the stacks are not perfect, but I'm just going to start putting these on the shelves, or I could be here forever, and I will just find books that are supposed to go together once there's less on the floor. But right now it is too much all over the place, so let's just get started with the stacks that I have gotten together and see where we end up. I did pick up the new edition, the 10-year anniversary editions of the Southern Reach trilogy. They are absolutely stunning. This is in anticipation of the 4th book coming out in October. And now I do have 3 versions of this trilogy because I also have the version that is all three books in one binding. But these are my favorite books of all time. So I don't typically try to collect a bunch of editions of the same book. This is an exception to the rule. I thought these were so stunning and like really capture the weirdness of this world and of this setting. They also have new introductions, one by Karen Joy Fowler, one by Helen MacDonald, who I am not familiar with, and then one by N.K. Jemisin. So I'm going to be rereading these in the next few weeks in anticipation of the 4th book coming out. I cannot wait, but let's start with my Vanderveer shelf because I think that probably will take almost a whole shelf. Maybe not, but almost. hitting a bit of a wall. I will definitely have more room than I thought I would. Empty shelf space, which is great. I'm struggling to put things together in a way that makes sense, but I'm also just trying to not be too specific with the organization and just let things be, and I can live with it for a while and then reshuffle as I see fit, or as I finish new books and like things no longer make sense. But I definitely don't like to organize by alphabet or anything like that. That's too much for me to handle, but I want it to just make sense kind of like in my head. So up there I started like a horror-ish section where I have my Stephen King, some Riley Sagers, a couple of other random bits. I have been thinking of ending things, The Last House on Needless Street, and then down here I have the beginning of like obviously my Vandermeer section, and then like a fantasy or weird section. So I have Jonathan the Stranger, Mr. Norrell, Vita Nostra, The Memory Police, Never Let Me Go, The Fifth Season, the Broken Earth trilogy rather. So things are kind of starting to come together, but having this much room is so exciting. I'm having a good time. It's a lot. So basically all of the red books are now on the shelves. I realize that I'm missing a couple books. I think my sister has a few. I left some at home. Like I don't have Piranesi, and I was getting ready to display that in a very significant, prominent way. But everything is on the shelves. Not every single section makes sense yet, but I'm fine with it for now. We do have the priority sections. I'll show you. So we have the Vandermeer shelf that I will continue to populate when I finally read his anthologies. We have the Robin Hobb section. There's more where this came from. It's kind of annoying that I have all different size books. I've got these two in the Farseer trilogy before I understood that this is part of a much larger world. So I don't have the editions that all match, but I'm kind of attached to these two because they got me so excited about the series. So we'll see if I want to swap them out eventually. But I'm looking forward to expanding the shelf. I have my Claire Keegan's. I think I'm missing something here. I don't exactly remember. I have my Robin Wall Kimmers and like nature books. Then I have my Ton of French section and my Sarah Waters. Again, Sarah Waters is an author that I want to read more of, so I'm just saving room for her. And then some kind of random books here. I have some horror up there. I don't really read horror anymore, but these are kind of legacy books from when I did. I mean, some of these books I really, really enjoyed, like The Vegetarian. I'm thinking of ending things. My Sister the Serial Killer. So, White is for Witching. Some of these books I really, really enjoyed. I just don't gravitate towards these type of books too much. Mantell's here. I have my Catherine Lacey's, my Eleanor Catton's, my Maggie O'Farrell's, my Karen Joy Fowler's, again some faves, and then my Jo Walton's here. some like fantasy slash weird sections here. I have my Tate Thompson series, my N.K. Jemisin series, Venomous Lumpsucker, another fave, Perdita Street Station, another fave, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, one of my absolute favorites, and then Piranesi will go here eventually when I finally get it back here. Then I have some classics at the very bottom, some Jane Austens. Then I have a little Lord of the Rings and Hobbit section here, which will be cute. I'm excited to decorate this one. And then I have my Anne of Green Gables book. Ooh, my Anne of Green Gables books here, and my Little Women, my Louisa May Alcott. The shelves actually go back, so I have room to tuck books behind here. I definitely don't have enough books to need to do that yet, but one can dream. You're actually sitting on a whole box rather, of like tchotchkes and little decorative bits that I've been collecting. So I'm probably gonna do that later once I've sat with this for a little bit, but I do have like little things that I wanna start putting on the shelf now that I have so much free space. And then I could add some picture frames and just some random things that I've collected, like little trays of like jewelry, or I'm a little bit of a pebble collector. So I have a ton of rocks that I can put on here, maybe in like my Robin Wall Kimmerer section or like my nature section. But yeah, I'm loving this, and I do have some of these like little, I think they're for plates, to hold like decorative plates, but I put books on them for now, some of my favorites. Like I love the cover of The Strange Bird by Jeff Vandermeer. It's one of my favorite illustrations that I've ever seen on a book cover, so I wanted to display that. I still have my old bookshelf in the corner over here, and I did a bit of an unhaul of some unread books that I didn't think I was going to read. So I'm actually going to do my entire physical TBR here instead of on the main shelves, so it's easier to kind of pick those out. Now I think everything will fit because I got rid of a bunch. That's it for now. I'm going to spend the next few days and weeks continuing to decorate this. I obviously have a lot of room left to play with. I have multiple completely empty shelves, which is great. All of my unread books are also stashed away. I feel good about this. I hope you guys enjoyed. Now I just need to decorate. I want a little reading chair, a little cozy rug, but patience is a virtue. So I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in my next one soon.